Hey there viewers, Eric O here, South Main Auto. Welcome back to another repair video. Got this 2000 Jeep Cherokee Classic behind me. It's got the 4-liter in it. It's got about 130,000 miles on it. And the guy moved here from out of state, so this thing's pretty clean, but it does have a little history. The engine in it really isn't that good. He tells me it has really low oil pressure, which, you know, these are really notorious for. He's had the oil pump replaced and, you know, with no avail to that, and you know, no cure, so he's just been running really thick oil in it, he tells me. So, but that's besides the point at this time. Right now the problem is the engine light's on and flashing, and it sounds to me like it has a really bad misfire, at least one cylinder. So we're going to go ahead and check this out. I don't know what it's going to be, if it's, you know, injector or coil or plug, or, you know, made your engine mechanical. I'm not real sure. So come along and see what we find. Put all the info in here. We got the key on. I'll go ahead and pull up some codes. Alright, well, we got a cylinder 6 misfire, cylinder 3 misfire, multiple misfire, and a bank 2 sensor 1 O2 sensor shorted. And I would say what we're going to concentrate on first before we even look at this O2 sensor is what's going on with these. Sitting there idling in my ear, it sounds like just one cylinder it's skipping, kind of revving it up. I don't hear anything mechanical in the sense of, you know, a rod coming through the side of it or anything, but you know, it doesn't mean there's not a burnt or sticking valve or something of that nature. We'll look at the scan tool here and see if we can read the misfire monitors and isolate it down to which cylinder and then chase it down from there. So it looks like they were adding up here on cylinder 6. Not so much on cylinder 3 as the code indicated. A couple there on 2. No big deal. Let me give it a little throttle here. Try that again. Yeah, so definitely number 6 here seems to be our problem child. We shut it off before it gets too warm. Looks to me like that problem is definitely coming from the number 6 cylinder. This is inline 6, so it's going to be the cylinder in the very rear here. This, however, uses a coil on plug ignition. It's just got one great big coil pack that bolts across there. So, you know, we want to go through and check for our preliminary stuff, you know, spark and, you know, compression, injector pulse, all that business. You know, I assume we probably don't have an open or shorted injector. I would think it would throw a code. Injector's right out in the open. It'll take us like 2 seconds to check for injector pulse, so we can just do that before we pull the coil pack and have a look at, you know, the spark. So that's the number 6 injector. Grab a Noid light here. Go ahead and start it up and make sure we got injector pulse, or maybe we don't have injector pulse, but we'll find out here in a second. So we have injector pulse. Now, that does not mean we have a good injector. It simply means we have good power and going to the injector, and we have a good driver controlling the injector, but like I say, it does not mean we have a good injector. So I guess with that being said, this problem happened suddenly, you know, so it wasn't like you know, something that progressively got worse. You're just driving along and all of a sudden, you know, started skipping. So I would, you know, really wouldn't lean towards, you know, plugged injector. Not that it's not possible, but coil packs and, you know, stuff of that nature is a little more failure prone than an injector. So gonna grab some tools, we're gonna pull this coil pack off and see if we have spark on that cylinder, and then we'll take our diagnosis from there. And I gotta tell you, wearing the Jeep hat, I really feel more than adequate to do this job. It just that warm, fuzzy feeling. I guess first thing first, I gotta get the thing unplugged. Chrysler or little red locks, I tell you what. There's that one. Man. Well, that's just about convenient. So there's the connector for it. They hide them way at the back. You probably can't see it, but down there, got a little red lock in it. Little red locks are awful. Oh, that one wasn't very tight. Just a little extra room here. I don't see any physical damage on it. Sometimes, you know, you take a part off, and this is the one that evidently we're having problems with on this cylinder, rather. So I guess without having spark plug wires, you know, check individual spark, what we're going to do is plug it back in. We'll put a spark tester in here. We'll have to run a ground wire, and then we'll just crank it over to see if we got spark. If we got spark, then we'll pull out a plug and, you know, check the plug. I guess we'll just leave it sitting like that for the time being. I don't know, feels like they're just like little springs or something here. We'll pop one of these rubber boots off and have a look. Yep. So yeah, it's just a spring that hits on the end of the plug wire, so it's on to make sure. Close up that gap. Should be able to jump that gap, no problem anyways. Well, I'll hook up a ground wire. There's that. I'll just ground it over there on that bolt. Okay, I'm gonna go crank it. We'll see if we got spark. Well, you can see we didn't have any spark on that cylinder, and just to make sure our test equipment is good, we're going to go to a known good coil, or known good cylinder. We're going to crank it over here and just make sure that our test equipment is good. If that's the case, you can almost assume the coil's bad. You know, this is a waste spark system. You know, there's only 3 coil drivers running to this coil, so if we were missing 2 cylinders, you know, then we'd, you know, be really concerned about, you know, a wiring problem, but I'm pretty suspicious of the coil at this point. So there's our spark tester in cylinder number 5. We'll go crank it over. Well, you can see our test equipment is good because there was spark in there on the number 5 cylinder. So that gives us all the test results we need. We've only got 1 dead cylinder, and the only thing it can be at this point is the ignition coil. It can't be a broken wire, you know, to the coil driver, because if that was the case, we'd be losing 2 cylinders. You know, without looking, I don't know which ones it would be on this, whether it's, you know, 3 and 6 or you know, what the companion cylinder to number 6 is, but you know, these waste sparks, it's usually like, you know, 1 and 4 and 2 and 5 and 3 and 6, but working on so many different makes and models, you know, I don't know if that's true on this one, but it's a, you know, similar concept anyways. And you know, like I say, we only got one skipping, so we're gonna call it. It needs a coil. I'm gonna see if I can get a hold of one, put it on there, and they can yank one of the plugs out, see what they look like, see if maybe he wants to do some spark plugs right at the same time, or you know, anything else while we're right here right now, and kind of go from there. We get that done, we'll look at that oxygen sensor if the customer wants us to, and see what's going on with that. Well, I just got off the phone with a customer, and his thoughts are, well, the engine's pretty tired and, you know, has no oil pressure, I guess, when it gets hot. So he just wants the skip gone for now. So we're just gonna slap a coil on it and ship it down the road. I did yank a plug out. They're not that old, and you know, that was the same thing that he said. He remembers having them replaced within the last year or something of that nature. So I'm just gonna put a coil on it. Doesn't even want the O2 sensor looked at, so I guess, you know, that's that. I mean, I can't make them do what they don't want to do, so we're gonna get a coil. Vance is gonna bring that up. Hopefully it's a good one, and get this thing put together and verify it and ship it down the road. They came through for us. Got a new coil here, all the way from Poland. That's where I'm from. Or somebody in my family was at some point. I even had a viewer comment on that, said that my surname is very popular in Poland. I'm basically Polish. Let's put this in. Oh, who remembers how it came out of here? Down this way or something, wasn't it? Tell you what, I'm gonna plug that in before I get buried back down in there, I'll tell you that much. Go. That's pretty easy. I guess that's it. All we got left to do now is just reset the codes, come back in here to our Misfire monitors. They're staying right at 0, so that's good. All right, viewers, I'm gonna wrap it up. Really not much more to look at here. Doesn't want us to look into that O2 sensor or you know, anything else really. Just wants it to keep it from skipping and keep the light from flashing. Well, can't make anybody do anything they don't want to do, but we did at least get a chance to fix that and look at that and see what the problem was. And pretty simple, just had to put this big old coil on there. This thing's huge. So got that done. Pretty easy to diagnose, and you know, fortunately for him, you know, wasn't, you know, broken wire or anything real extravagant. And I think coil wasn't too bad. It was over $100 or something down at the Advance Auto, and fortunately they had a couple of them right in stock, so we were able to get this thing done and shipped out the door for this guy so we can get back on the road. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to take some time and check us out on Facebook if you want to connect with us socially there. I'm on Google Plus too, so you can check us out there. And as always, remember viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.